My name is Chris Dolan. I'm the attorney who has the honor of representing Mr. Johnson and his two sons in the legal action brought against Cedars-Sinai. This is a piece of paper. This is what will make a difference because they did not take into account their rights, their obligations to treat all people equally. This lawsuit is brought under a law that was passed in 1957 to gain access equally to businesses and services despite race, national origin, and any other discriminatory characteristic. And here we are, 57 years later, saying you have to change, you have to follow the law. Black people have the same rights as white people do. And we're still banging on that door. And so what we're using is a lawsuit to bang on that door. And it's especially appropriate today because if you think about what the Supreme Court is going to do with a piece of paper, it is going to consign women to have to bear children. And for black women, that means bearing children into a system where they are 3 times more likely to die than a white woman. So you are sentencing people to a death, to a life that they don't wish to have, a life that can cause them health consequences. So with that paper that's coming, this paper is coming today. And there's some very important things in this paper. This is not something that's being brought because something is believed to have happened. Within this complaint are quotes directly from employees of the hospital, including Dr. Kimberly Gregory, the director of the Division of Maternal Fetal Medicine and the vice chair of Women's Health Care, Quality and Performance Improvement, who testified under oath. Racial and ethnic disparities exist in both perinatal outcomes and healthcare quality here at Sinai. So Cedars-Sinai's own people inside who are charged with making sure that healthcare is provided equally are saying it is not happening. There is testimony from a technician who was right there when Kyria died. And that technician said that women of color are treated differently. I see the black patients come in. I say an extra prayer because you do have racism very much so in the operating room here at Cedars-Sinai. This is Cedars' own people indicting Cedars for their failures. So as this lawsuit proceeds forward, more will be exposed. And hopefully what it'll do is send a message to other hospitals and healthcare facilities that if you discriminate on the basis of someone's color, we're coming after you.
That's why I asked Chris Dolan to get involved because he's the best there is when it comes to handling civil rights cases like this. I do a lot of medical negligence cases, so I'm in. We're going to do this together, but I'm going to let Chris speak to that.
A medical negligence action was brought. During that process, discovery of these horrific facts came to light. Testimony from employees, doctors, people in that room that there was systemic racism that was affecting the care and led to Kyria's death was taken. When that shocking information came out, we decided that we were going to bring a separate and different type of lawsuit. One that is based upon the denial of the equal access to health care based upon race. It's a civil rights action. And as part of that action, we're seeking an injunction to change the policies, to make sure that the hospital acts appropriately, and to make sure that women of color who walk in here to have babies walk out with those babies. So this is a separate legal action focused on the hospital's conduct, where the other was focused on the doctor's conduct. A class action is a unique special species of the law where you have to have a number of people who suffered a similar type of issue and who've been harmed similarly. So we'll see what the statistics show. We'll see whether that supports a cause, but just like this case was built out of the facts that came from the wreckage of the malpractice case, that may evolve as we get more facts as to the statistics on this case. Some of you may remember her in the press that in 2013 there was a young black girl by the name of Jahai McMath. She was someone that I represented when they let her bleed to death at Children's Hospital Oakland. So this is not something new. This is not something that is out of the ordinary. This is something that's happening every day in America. Black women are dying because of their skin. We have some materials for folks, copies of the complaint. There's some multimedia flash drives that have the actual deposition testimony so that you can incorporate those into your piece if you'd like. Thank you all very much for coming.